Good afternoon, everybody. My name is John Smidjiklas. I'm the Director of Energy and Environment at the Building Owners and Managers Association of Canada. We're the industry association for commercial real estate in this country. You know all our members: Cadillac, Fairview, Oxford, Great West Life Realty, on and on and on, Bentall, Kennedy. Those are our major members. We own, operate, run, lease, manage our members about 2.1 billion square feet of commercial real estate in the country, including people in the university, hospital, and educational and other public sectors. One of the key things at the last presentation I was listening to is there's a lot of talk about architects and engineers and contractors working in BIM. We tend to get forgotten. Once the architects and engineers have designed it and the contractors have built it, we then have to figure out a way to operate it. And I like to say this, and I've actually talked to a lot of architectural firms, and they tend to agree. Buildings aren't built to be operated well. So we'd like to see more communication, not only between the people building and designing a building, but the people eventually who are going to operate it for the next 50, 100, or even more years. Very, very important going forward, particularly if you want to address some of the issues coming up in our country. A little bit more about BOMA. Our members we have a national organization, BOMA Canada, 11 local chapters covering every province and territory in the country. And I just want to give you some of the major programs that we work with. First is our BOMA BEST program, which I run, standing for Building Environmental Standards. It's a green building certification program, the largest green building certification program in the country. Over 1,800 buildings currently certified. Over 4,500 have actually gone through the assessment and certification process. It's the one program that's mandated by most government agencies across the country. So Alberta Infrastructure is a great supporter of the program. Public Works and Government Services Canada, Infrastructure Ontario, the Infrastructure Quebec in Saskatchewan as well, and a number of cities now are also actually doing it as well. Another area that we're getting involved in is an up-and-coming area is climate change resiliency. So we're developing an assessment and certification program that looks at the state and condition of Canada's current buildings and how they can interact with the effects of climate change or severe weather events, which we've had a few coming up these days. We've been working closely with the insurance industry in particular to mitigate, see how we can mitigate and adapt to these issues like the floods in Calgary, the floods in Toronto. But there's also, typically hundreds of these climate-related events, and the cost to the insurance industry has actually tripled over the past 15 to 20 years. So people operating buildings are seeing their premiums for on insurance and these issues going up quite a bit. The other is that because there's no flood insurance in Canada, the actual insurer for a lot of properties are you and I, the taxpayer. We're also developing a BOMA BEST program for tenant certification, which will be the first assessment program and certification for actual tenant spaces and the behavior of tenants across the country. This is really targeted at the large multinational that lease space in our buildings. We're also trying to do this as one of the outreaches, again, with the people that are designing and renovating our spaces. Great story. We just looked at a major law firm in downtown Toronto. They've gone through they're actually redoing 3 floors in one of the major towers. And after installing all low-flow urinals and toilets, they ripped them out and put in regular ones because the building wasn't built to actually it doesn't have enough water flow. And it was, when I talked to the interior designers, they said, well, that's not our problem. So that was one of the examples that we saw of how sort of the engineering, interior design, and architectural communities can actually become more involved in the building operations. We're updating our IT platform. We hope to have an IT platform that will become the Canadian Commercial Real Estate Sustainability Platform. And in terms of what we do, we're involved with a lot of Ontario municipalities in the community energy plans. working with the Federal Office of Greening Government Operations, the National Resources Canada Office of Energy Efficiency, Evergreen, which runs CityWorks, which is a beautiful campus in downtown Toronto if you're ever around. We've now started an engagement with CanBIM. We're holding sessions with the interior designers of Canada to make them understand the issues of operation of buildings. And we also started a formal outreach to the Ontario Association of Architects. So a little bit of information on who we are and what we do. And please, if you're looking for any more information, feel free to contact me.